doing, everybody? Joe Vizio here. Out on my Sunday, doing my thing. If you've been watching me, you know what I'm talking about. So, try and make a couple videos today. Things haven't been so good lately around the home. You know, things with my mother are kind of coming to a head. And it's not even so much that my mother is just sitting around doing things wrong. I mean, she's got her issues. I think I'm a lot stronger and, you know, I can deal with them a little better. Some days are better than others. But the fact is, my wife married me. She didn't marry my mother. So, needless to say, there's a little tension around the house. Me and my wife aren't exactly getting along very well right now. You know, it happens. Kinda, you know, getting my mother out, which now we're kinda at a really almost like a state of emergency when, you know, we're talking about getting her out. That's probably not going to be the miracle cure between my wife and I, because, you know, we have our other problems that are rooted in there. You know, my wife, she would like to have a normal husband. And it's gotta, I won't say it's gotta, I know it sucks to be involved with somebody that's gone through some kind of abuses and things like that affect their mental. So we'll see how it plays out. My wife is not a narcissist. We're just going through a rough patch. So, you know, I haven't really been making a whole lot of videos lately. But I do have one that I've been working on for a little bit. You know, I don't rehearse videos or, you know, have some kind of a cheat sheet or something like that I'm reading off of. Sometimes when I start up that camera, you know, I know maybe a little bit about what I want to talk about, but for the most part, I'm just kind of winging it, you know? Just kind of speaking from the heart and being honest. So, there's a video, you know, I'm trying to make. And, you know, hopefully tonight I'll be able to get everything all down. It's kind of a rough one. You know, I want to read something that a good friend of mine wrote. And, you know, it might be it's a little hard to get through. I've read the thing a few times because I would like to be able to read it on here emotionless. Just getting the story out. So we'll see. I'll try again tonight. So, I had a conversation with my mother. And I guess things are kind of, the wheels are falling off the bus up north with my mom's sister and her kids, and one of my cousins, something's going on. I don't want to take my mom's word for what's happening, because my mom is a very, very, very biased person. She says she's not. Kind of like all the times that she was just wishing that her sister's husband would just drop dead. And then one day, a couple months ago, the guy dropped dead. And although, he was abusive to the kids, a little abusive to his wife, my mother just can't understand how her sister and her kids were saddened by his death. And from what we know, from going no contact, some of us have to actually cross that bridge ourselves when that narcissistic parent or loved one dies. And I use the word loved one very loosely. Some of us have a harder time than others. Some of us may regress and start to feel that sadness and start to feel that they could have done more to salvage a relationship. And I don't blame anybody for doing things like that. And that's kind of what was happening with the kids up north. And my mother's very, very, very resentful because they just weren't like dancing on this guy's grave. So I know now when she was trying to explain what's happening with Dominic, she's very biased about it. A few times where I kind of mentioned to her how she wished that her sister's husband would die, and of course it's denial, denial, denial. That river that flows through Egypt. So things are a little rough up there. And within our conversation, my mother says to me that something to the effect of how none of the kids want to take care of their parents. She says, none of our kids want us. And I said, Mom, I said, instead of looking at it selfishly and saying that none of the kids want you, how about you look at it from another perspective? How about you look at it like this? You guys lived your lives already. You lived your lives. You did what you want to do. And now's the time that, as Ollie says, you need to lie in the bed you made. I said, how about letting your kids live their lives? And you guys worry about taking care of yourselves. Of course, she didn't like that too much. And, it's kind of hard to really put into words the relationship my mother and I have. I have a lot of resentment for things when I was younger. And even with that, I was kind of trying to explain a little bit to my mother about why the kids may regress and are saddened by the passing of their father. And that her sister is not the innocent player. I told my mother, I said, if this guy was really abusing these kids, which I believe it. I've heard it from my cousins. And, you know, they feel pretty bad about things that they've said and all that. That's all well and good. I said, but if this guy's abusing the kids and your sister allowed it to happen, she's an enabler. She's just as guilty as the abuser. And I told her, I said, you know, Mom, I know our relationship is a mixed bag of fuckery and jackassery and anything else you want to throw in there. I said, but, you know, you got to understand sometimes the point where I'm coming from. I said, you tell me stories about how my father abused you. And yet, when I was 12 years old, you sent me to live with a known abuser because you thought it was best for me? So who don't want who? Mine and my mother's relationship is, you know, I have my issues. My mother has her issues. I am not afraid to lay my issues out on the table. When my mother starts feeding me some of her bullshit, I don't mind holding that mirror right in her face. But I do value what little is left. I don't have anybody else. I mean, I have my wife and my kid, but when it comes to blood relation, my mother is all I have. And, you know, if my wife and I can't get back on that path, you know, do I need to say it? All the times that I hear that her family is my family, and, you know, anybody who's been in different domestic relationships, we kind of know how that my family is your family goes after a split up. So, as angry as I get sometimes, and, you know, as many times as I say, you know, I just need to get my mom out and just go no contact and all that, you know, I mean, I'm pretty angry, but, you know, I'm trying my best to salvage what's there. And, you know, I can hear my inner Ollie Matthews telling me how much of bullshit that is. You know, we've all been through a lot. We've come a long way. And yet, we still have a long way to go. In many ways. So, I'm at another place. I'm gonna go clean me some toilet bowls. And, you know, I'll work on a couple videos today. Seems like a few things I want to get off my chest, and I like to work on that thing for my friend. Just been having a little bit of trouble with it. But guys, I do appreciate everything that I can get from you, that you can get from me. I appreciate the community that we have. Everybody that's subscribed and can make it as far into one of my videos as they can. I know I'm kinda... But as I said before, you know, if I can't tell a story my way, then I guess there's no real sense in telling it at all. So, thanks a lot, guys.